What is up, baking bongos? Welcome back to episode 1-3 of the Secret Baking Streamery Bakery
Bakery podcast.
Baking Secret
Streamer
Podcast.
pod.
How are you guys doing today?
I'm just
I'm doing-
dandy.
How would you say what I was going to say? I was going to say I'm doing dandy.
I read your mind again.
Two
Damn
people
it.
can be dandy at once.
Bro, stop. Give me some privacy, man. Stop reading my mind.
No.
I am wiped. Like
Like
if
anally?
there was if there was a smudge on like the table, and then you got like you sprayed it with the anti-mud smudge spray, and then you got like a wipey thing and wiped it off. That smudge post wipe would be me. That's how wiped I am.
Holy guacamole.
I've just been very busy
Mm-hmm.
these past couple of days. Started a new job.
Mm-hmm.
Just going pretty well.
That's
it's
good.
literally just looking after dogs. And I love dogs. It gets a bit boring at times, but it's pretty good. My biggest problem at the job was I sat on a chair funny yesterday, so my back kind of hurt the whole time.
Ooh.
Such an old man. I need to keep up with my posture.
Positively ancient.
Yeah, I nearly had scoliosis once, like no bit, but I was able to correct my course.
Based.
Nice.
Good
Yeah.
job avoiding scoliosis.
Thanks. We need to avoid it again.
Yeah. Jacob, did you avoid scoliosis?
I never was at risk.
So yes.
Yeah.
This is goofball. I was gonna say something.
You know
I
me.
forgot. Do I?
Yeah, I'm not a big scoliosis head, so I don't subscribe to it.
But you know what you should do? Subscribe to the podcast. That's right.
Oh yeah, you're right. I should subscribe to the podcast. We can inflate the numbers.
Not inflate, accurately portray.
That too.
That, I mean, I'd say just that.
Is it bad if I'm not subscribed to the podcast?
Honestly,
Well,
I don't know if I am.
I think we aren't, so people don't know what this
See,
channel is.
I don't need to be subscribed because I simply know when we upload an episode because I'm in the episode.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
also, we don't watch the episodes.
Yeah, we get fucking live viewing of the episodes. Why would we need to watch them?
I've watched a bit of one. But
I've watched a bit of that one as well.
There have been some. There's one episode I want to go back and listen to, and maybe this one if I say the stuff I say right, just because I think it's a good thought to keep in my head.
Okay.
Okay. Is this a therapy episode?
Maybe. I mean, I've had fears that I will talk about, but I pretty much kind of solved them, or at least rationalized them. The thing with I'll just get into it. I was at an IHOP with friends. We were talking for a while. We had a really good conversation, but even before then, I was starting to get irrationally scared. Just everyone was talking about like two of them mentioned like their jobs. One of them was like going into a full-time job. The other was like mentioning trying to go into a full-time job, and I was getting a job. We were also talking about like how hard it's getting to schedule times together, and that just like I mentioned that it sucked, and they were like, yeah, but like inside it was making me really scared. I was probably just tired, but like it was just proof that like everything's changing. We're no longer kids in middle of the high school where we can have like a D&D session every single week, and like that's how
we didn't really
far more frequently than we have them now.
I don't. Yeah.
Maybe not now because it's summer, but like
Well,
you know.
now would be like the best time.
We had more time, and it was easier to schedule stuff together, is my point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I was getting pretty sad, like honestly scared about that. It felt pretty irrational, but it was just like, everything's changing. I'm in college now. I'm gonna get like the goal is to get like a full on job later. Uh, and I just get kind of scared about that. I started thinking a bunch about the future. Like, I still don't know what I even want to do. What if I don't make it anywhere? What if I end up somewhere that just makes me miserable? What if the friend group drifts apart? That's also a big fear of mine. It has no sign of that, but like, who knows what happens in the future?
Mhm.
Um, so I was kind of internally just freaking out about that while everyone else was just talking about D&D spells for like the better part of 30
That sounds
minutes.
like our friend group in like a nutshell.
Yeah, but yeah, I was just scared about how everything's changing. How I don't want things to change because I kind of like how things were
Mm-hmm.
before. I'm gonna have to just grow up and hope I find somewhere that doesn't make me miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I eventually rationalized with myself, and I got a pretty decent response that I'm happy with. For the for like the ending up miserable part, I think like as long as I just keep learning from like any failure I run into, like don't just give up or something, but make sure to like even if I end up in a job I don't like, make sure to keep working forwards, keep focusing on growing myself and keep working towards whatever I'm passionate about, even while I'm in a job I don't like. Eventually, I'll keep getting to a better and better place as long as I just don't lose that focus.
I mean,
And like a big part of college is like obviously the job you get after college is not the job you're stuck with. You're supposed to keep going from there, So I I think I'm doing a lot better with myself, focusing on the things I want to do. So as long as I
Mm-hmm.
never stop that, and I'm always slowly making progress towards something, I'll never be stuck anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I rationalize to myself.
yeah, well, especially like the instance of ending up at a job, unless you're in a poor financial situation, like you do not have to end up at a job you hate. A lot of people like oh, that's a lot due to the culture of a bunch of the previous generations where it's like, oh, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and just tough it up. No, if things are shit where you are, find somewhere else because companies are terrible and they don't look out for their employees. And if it's not something you enjoy, take time to start finding something you do enjoy and do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like things can change now, but if I don't like where I am at a point, that point can also change to somewhere
Yeah.
better as long as I keep working.
And you will not enjoy where you are at some point in your life, and you will find a way to move past that and go somewhere better.
Yeah. And as for like the friend group drifting apart thing, you know, still a bit scared about that, but I thought the exact same thing at college. Like everyone was going to completely different places and stuff, so I was scared that maybe we'd stop talking to each other, but I felt like actually the opposite happened, where because we were all away from each other, it felt like the Discord was like way more popular, or at least a bit more. Everyone was
No,
talking
it
all the
was
time.
definitely way more.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and we even grew. Like we got two more people in it
Hmm.
that talk pretty frequently, which isn't like doesn't ensure the future for us. But I think like as long as everyone keeps making an effort to communicate in there at least sometimes and keep trying to make plans even when scheduling is tough, I don't think we'll drift away. I
Mm-hmm.
think we're a good group of friends, and I think everyone recognizes that. So that was my rationalizing
Hmm.
for that.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I just want to take a moment to say that I feel like I won the lottery in terms of like just friends. You guys are pretty great, you know? Like we're all funny, we joke around, but we're also like have a culture where we can just be like honest with each other and talk about things and like no one's going to like make fun of a person for that. We're all very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny how it's at one point we're like joke gaslighting with each other, trying to like ruin someone's memory. But like when someone brings up something like serious that happened to them or something they're passionate about, we immediately just completely switch and like are super supportive.
Yep.
I think it's really funny. But good funny.
And it's important to know I don't gaslight in those scenarios. There was one point where somebody was like, I don't know if I can trust you. That's not where you gaslight. I know how to read a social situation.
Yeah, I trust people.
I trust you, Jackson.
Thank you, Jacob. I trust you as well.
You know, and I was also watching like another YouTube video earlier, and I think I don't know, I realized just how little I kind of like stop and appreciate the things I already have. Cuz like obviously we're wired to like look at the stuff we don't have because we're always striving towards a goal. I don't think being like goal oriented is necessarily always a bad thing, but like it's easy to miss and just appreciate the stuff you already have. Like you guys as friends. I don't feel like I don't do enough to like really appreciate you guys, but
You can
I'm
get
lucky to
stuck
have
up.
you all.
Yeah, you can get stuck up on a goal, and then once you complete it, you're like, "What do I do now?"
Or like an internet connection. The fact that we can talk to each other with the internet, like at least half the world's population does not have that luxury.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then, like it's important to like obviously our problems are not invalid because we have stuff already. Like if you get a flat tire, it's not like life ending, but that still sucks and that's a valid problem. And it's not invalid to like complain about your childhood or something, even if you think someone else's childhood is worse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to say that, but I do think every now and then it's important to just like appreciate what you have.
Yeah.
I feel like I heard somewhere that that's a good recipe to be happier in life, and it kind of makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, if you're just always looking for something, you'll never be satisfied. Quote Hamilton the musical.
Yeah. So, anyways, back to the IHOP thing. Once two of them left, we started to just have like a pretty deep conversation about like perspective. And
Was
it
Nick
didn't like
there?
yeah,
Okay, that makes sense.
but we were kind of all leading. I was kind of the one who brought it up though.
I know, but Nick definitely, like, super
Oh yeah,
enabled that.
yeah, he's awesome. He definitely did. It was crazy. Like how do you even explain that? So you know like nature versus
Nurture, yep.
I feel like they both do have a play. Like your DNA that you're given from your parents does wire your brain in a certain way to like shape who you are a bit, but I feel like nurture, like your actual experiences can shape a lot more about you. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion at least because and the reason I think that is cuz I've like started to think about perspective. Let's see. Uh I feel like everyone has like lives in their own world. Like there's the world that we live in, like reality, but no single person can like possibly know everything there is to know about this world, how it works, about every other person and what they've experiences. You only know what you know, and that creates your world, which is similar to their world, but it's not the same. So it can be hard to grasp another person's thoughts or point of view if that person has lived a very different life than you because like fundamentally the way that your world works is
It's different from
shaped by
theirs.
your experiences and what you know, and if that other person has had completely different experiences, then their world like fundamentally in their eyes works completely different than yours. But a lot of people operate like they assume the world they live in is the world everyone else lives in, making it very hard for people to like understand other points of view, or like when they encounter someone who has a wildly different opinion, they have like a knee jerk reaction because it's kind of like a defiance in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like proof that their world is not the full truth. Or like, all right, do you know gun control?
I've heard of
I
it
I haven't
once.
I I still haven't given it like I haven't like fully sat down and thought about it, but like I do believe like a lot of guns should be reined in, and it's a pretty liberal perspective that I mostly agreed on, but I had to give it a bit more thought. And we were talking about that, and Nick said like, yeah, he agrees, but like, think about this: his grandfather or one of his family members lives in like a super rural area in the middle of nowhere. The nearest police station is like 30 minutes to an hour away. So like if someone breaks in or there's like a bear or something that's attacking him, the police are not going to get there to help him. He kind of has to have guns to protect himself from pretty much everything around him, which I thought was kind of crazy. Like I never really thought about that because like a person who lives in the city versus a person who lives in a just out in the middle of nowhere, they live completely different lives. Like their planets are almost completely different. And like they can be aware that there's other people out there that live completely different lives. Like if they're told there are people out there that live completely differently than you, they can be like, yeah, okay. But like actually like completely understanding that and knowing that is a very different thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I see like a lot of like I, I've never seen a single like political debate online actually like reach a conclusion where one person's like, "Oh, I think I see what you're saying," you know. But I feel like the two different groups are like shaped by so many different experiences. Like they're just when they're arguing, first of all, they're not even arguing on like a level of intellectual honesty to actually like reach a conclusion. They're just arguing to like prove they're right. But like they're also arguing from like pretty much two different laws of how the world works, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So trying to understand another person with a differing viewpoint can actually be a lot harder than it might seem because it can make you angry even like how someone could possibly think something when it goes against everything you know, but everything you know can be completely different than everything they know. Like I don't know if this is going to make sense what I'm going to say, but I'm going to try to say it anyways. If you look at a cup and you say that's a cup, and someone else looks at that and it goes, that's a plate, and you cannot believe that they would say that, as like everything in your life informs you that that is a cup, and nothing you know would suggest that that cup is a plate. But that other person has lived a life that makes it make perfect sense of why that cup is actually a plate, and they are in just as much disbelief as you are to think that that plate is actually a cup. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
I, that's- it, I know it's not like super closely in it, but hopefully it gets the point across. But all of this is to say that like in order to understand other people better, you need to understand that your world is not the world and that other people live in worlds completely different than yours. Like there will always be so much you don't know, so many things that like don't make sense to you but make perfect sense to other people due to the lives they've lived and like their experiences that like build up the logic of why that thing would make sense to you. It's like that, I don't know if you guys have seen online, but that curve where it's like when you're learning a new skill, like
Yeah.
at first when you learn like a bit, you feel like you know so much because you went from like 0 to 10%,
Mhm.
and that is like a massive difference. But then as you start to learn more and more, you feel like you know way less because you see that there's so much more you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like that, but like for everything. But like once you accept this, that your experiences and your truths are relative to you and are not necessarily the universally right truths, you'll stop being so caught off guard when you encounter a viewpoint that you cannot possibly understand, and instead be like more inclined to maybe understand where the person is coming from instead of immediately trying to convince them they are wrong. And that's way more easier said than done. Like, it may sound easy, but like there's always going to be some, you can never like possibly have a fully understanding of everything. Like, you'll think you're open-minded, but then you'll get caught off guard by something that sounds just so completely outlandish. But like, there could be someone who's lived a life that's just so incredibly different than yours.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But if you just seek to convince everyone around you that you are right and they are wrong, you'll never learn anything. You'll never go anywhere. It could be you that's wrong, but you'll never realize that because you refuse to ever accept that. You'll just be stuck and you'll never grow because you'll never be able to accept that your truth may not be the truth, or the whole truth at least. It's only once you accept that not everything you know is the right thing that you can start to be more understanding, and actually, once you accept that you don't know a lot, you can actually build your knowledge way more about the world around you instead of just being stuck.
Yeah.
And like, for an example of this, I feel like I've gotten the point across really well, but like, I think. But there's this one point. So like, I don't know if you can tell, I'm pretty liberal. Like, pretty liberal. And I dormed with someone in college for a whole year. No, that's not. I'm sorry.
I know. It was
That's not what I meant.
you
There was
misspoke.
something in my dorm,
But it was very funny.
Season.
I'm sorry if that
There's
person
something.
will probably never
Guys.
see this, but if they do, I apologize. It's not what I meant. Someone dormed with me who we were friends, but they are like really conservative, pretty much. Like, we had opposing opinions on like so many things. And I do want to say, like, I disagree on a lot, very like a lot of stuff about this person very intensely. Like, I really hate a lot or don't like a lot of the things they believe, but I do have a certain amount of respect for this person. They never like we were able to openly talk about how our viewpoints differ on a lot of stuff, and they never like yelled at me or anything. They always, whenever they talked, they were always like willing to hear and like actually listen to what I was saying and tried to like present their argument, but they never like, we never like got in any sort of fight or anything. So I was never really able to convince them of anything. But like, I do want to say before I get into this that I do respect them for always like trying to be open-minded and like listening to what anyone else had to say instead of just shutting them down, like I've seen pretty much everyone else do in like political arguments. But like, basically there was this thing where they were doing a thing where people were paying them to write essays, like school essays, like the service where like
Yeah.
I've seen people do this where like they just pay someone else to write their school essay because they don't want to. And I don't really know what my thoughts on are for that. I didn't really give a lot of thought about the morality, but I found out what they were doing is they would get in an order and someone was paying them to write the essay, but in order to do that, they would then just go to ChatGPT and say, write this essay, and then they would give it back to the person would pay for them because they didn't know about ChatGPT. And I hated that so much. Like, disregarding the thought about ChatGPT writing essays, like, that can be its whole thing. I'm not going to focus on that. It's the fact that, like, the people, the service that the people were paying for could be easily achieved for free. They didn't have to pay for it. All this person had to do would be like, oh, you can just go here. But instead, they were basically profiting off of them because of the fact that they didn't know any better, that there was this service that could produce the exact same quality but for free. And we were talking about it. We weren't even arguing. It was near the beginning of the semester, and I didn't want to get like too argumentative with them because I was gonna have to live with them. But I also felt like I couldn't just not bring it up. And through this argument, I realized that this person and I were operating on completely different like levels of logic. And because like at one point they said something that I could not believe, and I'm paraphrasing, and this is gonna make them sound like worse than they actually are, but like they said like the difference is like you clearly care a lot more about like empathy and stuff. Like that's more important to you. And I'm paraphrasing on that, but when I heard what he said, like I was kind of just flabbergasted. Like to me, it was like, yeah, of course you should treat people like I was like, would you be mad if you knew someone was doing this to you? And they said yes, but they don't know. All right, he was kind of like almost implying that it was their fault they didn't know, and that was what was driving me crazy. Because how can a person possibly be at fault for not knowing something, for just not knowing something that they don't know? But like they're implying like, well, yeah, that's just how it works. Because they don't know, I'm allowed to like do this to them. And like you clearly care a lot more about like sympathy and stuff. And I was flabbergasted. Like we kept it civil, and like even though I was so adamant about this, they were really being open minded and like listening to this to me and like actually thinking about my argument. But like in that moment, I realized that like we it wasn't just like different experiences. Like we were just operating on completely different fundamental laws of how our worlds worked, and like there would be no like midpoint we could reach because we were just our views on how the world worked or should work were just so radically different.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Uh,
And that it just kind of blew my mind because like it obviously people's perspectives can differ, but like it really showed me like how different people can be and how how different people can think, like how different people can operate on completely different levels of logic based on what they've experienced.
mm-hmm.
Because like
And
everyone has their own entire world that's shaped around them.
yeah, so from hearing that, would you be fine if I shared my perspective on like from just like the hearing the fair bits of it?
Sure.
So like you mentioned that, see, this is my perspective on that particular topic. You mentioned that people are it's a service where people are paying other people to write their essays, essentially plagiarism, which already goes against like standard, like school rules and such. Like I agree with that. Like, yeah, it sucks. I would definitely be angry if I learned that, you know, my essays were being written by a free service and not by the person I paid them to. But as an outside viewer, I'd be like, they're already trying to cheat the system in that that form of getting punished just kind of just seems deserved, since they are literally just trying to cheat their education system by having someone else do it for them.
I guess that I didn't think about that part too much. Mainly one because I've never had a very high opinion of the education system, so I didn't care too much. And I've also seen people with actual good reasons to
Mm-hmm.
like try and cut corners. Like they had so much work and they literally wouldn't have time. But I knew they
Mm-hmm.
were smart enough that they. I've run into people who I I've seen good reasons to do that kind of stuff. I don't like it. I've never done that. I always write my essays, but I'm also good at writing essays and I like writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I recognize that there are people out there that like in high school, like you kind of really need to get good grades to get into a good college, and like if there are
Yeah.
circumstances that can just completely prevent you from doing certain things, and it's such a small thing but it can just completely fuck you over because it's your entire future, that's going to be written out on that report card and shown to a bunch of different colleges. That's my perspective, at least. I've run into people who have had good reasons to need to just get it done. I was more caught up in the fact that like they were just profiting off of people's ignorance. Like that's what I'm more focused on. But I've just had specific experiences with people who I thought kind of deserved it, but maybe most people are just, being lazy.
What's your opinion, Jackson?
It's more along the lines of yours. I've heard some people, but normally a lot of the times I disagree with their sentiments and reasoning, because there are a lot of people. There are very few times and very few examples I've heard where I agree that they have not had enough time, but there are those that do happen. And in general, the most people I hear that are like, "Oh, I'm having this write my essay," it's they should not, and they suck at writing essays, and it's because they've always done something like this. But I think both. I think it's like a situation of they're both in the wrong, but I think one of them is a bigger issue in the not in this scenario, but it's like kind of it points towards a systematic issue in capitalism where there are people that intentionally make these gaps in knowledge and take advantage of people just so they can make a quick easy profit, and that's what I really don't like that.
Yeah, it made me really mad because I feel like it's hard to gather my thoughts. I've probably just said it right, but it just made me really mad. But when I was talking to them, I realized that like the reason that it made me mad did not exist for them because they were operating completely differently. And then that just kind of changed my worldview a bit. Sorry for taking up the conversation space for like 20 minutes straight.
It's
It's fine.
this is not like what I'm saying is not meant to make you feel bad. I think it's funny that you're like, I'm kind of low energy today. I don't know if I'll talk too much. And then I think you got a good 30 minutes. So this
Yeah,
is
you've done like half the podcast.
I
so-
mean, I legitimately am low energy, but it was also I really wanted to talk about this
Yeah.
stuff. But I think that's I guess there's one more thing I could talk about, and that's the fact we
BRB.
did talk about
What did you say?
said BRB.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, guy. Okay. No. I'm gonna bully him on this when he gets back.
Oh.
Because it's
Jackson, he is his own person. You
and
don't
I
even know why he left. He
and
could
I'm
have,
going
like,
to
a really
ask
good
him.
reason.
And once he gives me his bad answer, I'm going to bully him.
It never. At least in friends, you should never assume the worst or people around you that you want to build relationships with.
I'm not assuming the worst. The worst would be like
You're assuming
he
he's
left
a
to
bad
murder
reason.
somebody. I was a not good reason. We'll see what the reason is.
Don't assume the not good.
No.
What's the not good reason?
Jacob, why'd you leave?
It's called whatever.
Leave? No, I just got hydrated.
Yeah, see, he
Did
needed
you have water beforehand?
No.
Sometimes you just forget. I know I'm very forgetful. I can definitely see myself forgetting water.
Sorry for causing a little gap in the.
Jackson, everyone
my
has
thought process.
their own world. Jacob's entire experience in his life could build up to make perfect sense as to why he forgot water before the podcast.
No, it doesn't. I just don't have a water bottle, so I just wanted to grab a cup.
Okay, never mind.
And just didn't
I
think to
was
do
building-
it beforehand.
No, not really.
Anyways, what was I gonna say?
I don't know.
Oh, right. I think I've already mentioned that. I can't remember if my memory is getting worse or if my memory's always been this bad, but I've never just had to memorize or remember so many important things at once before. I feel like it could be either one. Though I do vaguely remember not remembering things frequently as a kid. I think I just have bad memory.
I think we
like,
had a
just
conversation
flatly.
once where you said, I've never really been the best at remembering things.
Yeah. No,
And I
You're
feel like our
you're
friendship corroborates that.
My bad memory is so bad that I forgot I had a bad memory, and my brain has gaslit me into thinking that I only
William.
just now am forgetting things.
William, you were very suspectable to gaslighting.
Yeah, I know.
Beware.
That I've had to like just.
Phase 19 worked.
I'm also gullible. Like someone will say something that's obviously not true, and like
You
for a
believe
little
the
bit I'll still wonder if it's true. I'll be like haha, but like wait, are you serious though? Like, you know. I don't know.
Mhm.
That's just a quirk of me. It hasn't caused any real trouble so far. So
Did you know there's a One Piece card game?
I heard it eviscerated the Taika machine by you, is who told me.
Mm-hmm. And the one of the things that they sell there is already sold out.
The card game.
Yeah. Like the booster pack from the place is already sold out.
really.
Yeah.
Where'd all these One Piece? I barely heard anything about One Piece before like this year.
Mm-hmm.
I
You know, like I saw like one or two clips of it, and it made no sense to me because I One Piece. Now that I'm like halfway through, I can tell that if you pick some moments out of the show, it would be super weird. I've also never met anyone before this year who's watched One Piece or talked about it. Like I didn't know Zane was even watching One Piece until he told us this year.
I
And
think
like suddenly now that everywhere I look, it's One Piece. Like I was talking to like people from my what from like a thing I used to be a part of, and like they watched One Piece or were in the middle of watching One Piece. Like, where did this come from? What happened?
I think it's just you haven't been exposed to a lot of anime circles and
Yeah.
haven't been a big anime
See,
person, so you
see,
wouldn't have
my
like
whole in my world, anime was never like a big part of it. So like now that I'm just experiencing it now, it feels like One Piece just now like became a big thing. But in reality, it was always a big thing. It just never like entered my perspective before. Yeah.
yeah, I mean like I think I'm like I'm noticing it like a lot more frequently. Like it's I think it's growing in prominence probably mostly due to the One Piece live action, which is coming out in August. I'm so hyped for that.
I
Like
cannot wait to watch that.
I am actually unbelievably so ready to watch One Piece live action. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much all the stuff I had planned. So I'll see you guys later.
oh dope.
Oh,
That's a bit. It's a bit.
It's a bit.
okay, okay.
As in he's finished with what he has to say and he is not leaving the call.
I got worried.
Liam's not unprofessional. He would never leave a recording session. God damn, I keep forgetting to turn it off. It's fine.
Why would
Oh my
you do
god! Oh my god! You fool.
It's fine.
Anyways, what topics do you have, Jackson?
Jacob, you never give topics. I thought you had one or two.
I lied.
that? Why?
All right, guys. You know what? I'm going to go on a tangent. I'm
Okay.
really bad at thinking of topics. Cause like so far, every time I've been here, I'm like, man, shit, I forgot topics. What would be a good topic to talk about? So right now, my current topic is how I keep on forgetting to talk about topics or think of topics in general. Because like I'm, I feel like it stems from like the rest of my life. I feel like I've grown to accustom. See, my perspective has grown too accustomed to the things that I do that sometimes I like in my head it's just like this is just the normal. It's not really that interesting, and there's like no real reason to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. I feel that a
Like
lot.
like I feel like most of you would be like, man, your work is pretty interesting, but right now the only like adjectives I can think of my work right now is like tiring. Like that's
Mhm.
all I can think of it. Like tiring and like stressful. There's nothing like when something like out of the ordinary pops up, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a bit neat. That'll be something new to see. But then like most of the time, just like, oh, it's just same old, same old. Like, oh yeah, oh, dog broke its leg. That's a casual Tuesday or whatever.
Mhm.
It's nothing like really like mind shattering or like exciting enough for me to think of it as like something I could talk about during my day. And I feel like that applies to a lot of other stuff. And it just causes me to be like, I don't really have anything interesting to talk about, despite, like doing so much interesting work in my own life.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry that I forget topics, and I'm sorry that you actually thought I had a topic prepared. I,
Well, we were sitting like in the call for like 10
I
minutes
said,
before this, and
I said one. One was like my sign for saying that I was not thinking of anything. And
oh,
I
If you if
I
you
said one maybe
why isn't your sign for you don't have any topics saying you don't have any topics?
because I don't want to, like I don't want to.
think about his circumstances.
You're right.
I don't want to. I look. I don't want to feel bad and be embarrassed that I forgot to think of topics each week. So I lied and I assumed that you guys would have enough topics to fill out the hour.
So I'm gonna be 100%. I thought you didn't have a topic, and that's why I asked. I'm like, let's see.
Well, you were right.
They do call me the master at thinking for a reason.
But
That's a
for real
bad
though,
name.
like it's so props to you, Liam, and like you, Jackson, and
Mainly
like
Liam.
all the rest, mainly Liam, yeah, but like all those content creators out there that manage to make things interesting. Because damn, it is so hard to think of anything interesting, like
Yeah.
at all. Like I
Yeah.
don't know if this is going to interest people or it will just bore them. Because like I'm just talking about random shit. I'm
Mhm.
talking about how I didn't have like have like anything planned for this, which like shows poor professionalism on my part.
It's an art.
So, the art of improv makes it work.
A lot of it I've noticed too isn't just about coming up with interesting things. That definitely is a skill and it's hard to do, and a lot of the people that do that frequently
Hmm.
is are very talented, but some of the people I've seen, it's not just like what they do, but how they do it. Like they can say the most mundane thing, but the way they say it like can make it really interesting or funny. Like
Yeah.
it is both an ideas game and a charisma game,
Hmm.
which is also a hard thing to do. So yeah.
Oh, I think I thought of something. Have I talked about my tooth here before?
I don't
Your
think you've talked
tooth?
about it here now.
Okay. Okay. So, a long, long, long time ago, 6
Oh,
months,
I
uh,
remember
I
this.
did an oopsie on New Year's Eve and broke my front tooth. I ran into a playground bar while
Ah,
hanging out with a few friends.
It wasn't me. I didn't place the bar there.
No, it wasn't any of us. It was my own stupidity from running away from someone during a game of freeze tag. The grown 18-year-olds we are here.
Yep, I am 18.
Sorry, that's just me, I guess.
are you a minor?
Dox your age. I'll let you think about that one, Leo, because you know,
Anyways,
I'm being silly, as you are.
anyways,
Anyways,
um, uh, so during that, I hit my head. Like didn't have a concussion, but I definitely chipped my front tooth, and for a while, approximately like 6 months, it was that way until I finally got it fixed when I went to like the first dental appointment I had in 3 years.
hmm
That's a different story about why it's 3 years, but some misunderstandings led to us leaving that dentist, and then yada bada boom, laziness, that type of thing. Anyways, so I finally like I asked them about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we can get a filling," and then they fixed it up, and that was that.
let's go.
And then yeah, I feel really happy about that now. I feel like my confidence is surging upwards. Anyways, I got home and told my mom that I had a chip in my tooth, and they're like, "No, you didn't." So my first thought was, "Wow, they didn't notice in the 6 months." Like, I'm sure like someone in my family would have noticed, like, at least like once within like the 6 months. But they were like dead set on believing that I had never chipped my tooth. And I had to literally say, go back in your pictures and look. And they finally noticed it, which I thought was so weird and funny.
It's a massive L on their part.
I feel like I've said this before.
I think you actually did last episode.
I think I did last episode. Fuck.
I'm not. We probably repeated things before.
I don't think we. Oh,
We've
yeah,
probably
we
repeated things before.
But I just repeated
a
like a
bit.
same 3 minutes.
That's fine.
See, content is hard.
I agree. You guys, there's a content creator I watch. They do a solo podcast. Like
What are they called?
it's Curtis Connor. I don't know what the podcast name is off the top of my head.
That must be like terrible. Not terrible, but like
Hard.
hard for sure.
The podcast is
mean-
very, really good.
Jackson, you've soloed a podcast before.
Yeah, and it was hard. I did not do a good job.
That episode.
I agree.
I appreciate your hard work, though.
That's what they say about hard work.
That
Where's
it's
my
hard.
phone? No, that they appreciate my hard work.
Oh.
And that there's a spill on aisle 9.
They say that too.
Yeah. Aisle 9 keeps following me. It's weird.
Huh.
Why is the aisle following you?
I don't know.
Did you do something to it?
No. This is called dead air when we're trying to. This is called the. Not dead air. It's not dead air. This is the transition point between those topics. You guys hear about that submarine wreckage? As in, yeah, we've all talked about that actually. This was a.
No, we didn't talk about the sub.
Yeah, but
I
we've
mean,
talked about it outside of the podcast a lot.
That's what.
That's a bad redundant talk. Do you guys prefer long or short term content or like duration content?
I mean, it kind of
That's a good
depends on
one.
what it is. I like longer term content, but because or when I'm really busy, I have a harder time like interacting with it. It also depends like if it's a story. Like I like really big stories,
Mhm.
but there's some things that are like really short type of content that people put
Alright.
in like a lot of effort to that I really enjoy.
Here's the question. What do you consider like short-term content, like length-wise?
Well, I mean, let's expand this because I meant like episodes of content, but let's actually expand it to episodes and this. I mean, it's hard to define that, but like an overarching story in a game. One Piece is certainly a long-term story.
I really do like long-term stories. I feel like it allows for like a lot more expansive thing and a lot more stuff to be told.
Mhm.
As long
I
as it's
do-
like meant to be that long. Like if it's a story that meant to like end at a certain point, but then it was already popular, so then it like kept going and it's clearly just gone on beyond what it was supposed to. That it just sucks to see that. But like when a story is meant to go on for very long, I think I enjoy that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think
Go ahead.
I'm a big fan of long-form content as the resident second furthest in the One Piece anime in our friend group,
Mm-hmm.
having watched nearing the end of Dressrosa at the moment.
Yeah.
And but like I do also enjoy like short form content, but like I feel like when I'm talking about short form content, I'm more talking like 20-minute like YouTube videos, not like the YouTube shorts type of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. although I do like also enjoy like the longer like 1 hour videos from time to time. Though like it's kind of similarly like I would have to like find time, like find like a good gap in my day in order to actually like enjoy it and watch it. You know
Mm-hmm.
that like I normally am like unable to with like some longer form content. Though like so at the same time you can also like it's also weird to call like watching One Piece long form whenever you can get through like get through it in like short bits of time because like each episode's only like 20 minutes, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not like
it's different types of scales. So I'd say that's like, in terms of
medium.
the total story being told, that's long. But like, when you're talking about like how it's presented, that's like
It's
short.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a very big long form content fan in every way. My favorite book series is supposed to be a 10-book series that every book is like, let me see, how long is this book? It's like right in front of me. The book I have in front of me is 1,200 pages. Uh, so it's, and every book is supposed to be around that, and I'm
Wow.
excited for that. Let's see,
Mm-hmm.
and then, you guys remember that time I found that 10-hour Death Note video and watched it all in a day?
Yeah.
What was that even about?
It basically goes through the entirety of the Death Note canon and like analyzes it and the different themes and put things together, like just
Wow.
step by step. It was very good. I liked it a lot. Uh, and then I'm a big Critical Role fan. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm definitely long form content. I think it's partially because I can just not actually have to watch it. Because like if I'm listening to it and doing something else, I usually gather a good deal from it still.
Yeah,
Unless what I'm doing is super intensive.
I feel like depending on like your circumstances, different like forms appeal to you. Because
Mm-hmm.
like if you don't have enough time, you just can't really watch it like at a very efficient pace. Because you might be like having to break it up rather than absorbing it all at once.
Yeah,
Mm.
I hate starting like a video from like a point where I hate going to bed in the middle of like a 4-hour video. I did
Yeah.
that yesterday because I'm like, "Ugh, I just want to
Mm-hmm.
finish it all." Uh,
Yeah, I feel that.
I also don't like weekly releases and stuff because I hate
You don't
sitting there
want.
going, okay, we're waiting.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. I feel that.
Yeah. So I watched the Spider-Verse movie today. You know what that made me start thinking about?
What?
What superpower would you give your other two podcast members?
What superpower would I give you guys?
Yeah.
Ah.
See that one? That was outside the book.
Ooh, okay. I like that question a lot, actually. How well do I know you guys know what you guys would benefit from the most? Is there a limit to power?
I mean, let's just say like vaguely reasonable. Let's not be like manipulate everything. That's
Okay.
boring.
Would you Here, while people think about the answer to this
Mhm.
one, is there anyone in the friend group you would trust to give the power to manipulate everything to?
I mean, in general, nobody should have that power, in my opinion.
Yeah, nobody should have the power to manipulate everything. It would cause all the Christians to go crazy.
Well, and I don't think it's just a good idea for one person to have all the power.
I
That
could
too.
do a good job.
Anyways,
What do you mean,
what is?
anyways?
Well, I'm waiting for William's answer.
Oh, I have to go first?
Why
I
does he
still
have to
don't
go first?
know.
Because I'm still thinking.
Okay. Well, so I was thinking about this a little. I've
Okay.
actually kind of done this before. You guys ever hear about the
You've given-
Jackson
yep,
multiverse?
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
See, this is a difficult process to think through because people are too nuanced for like just a blanket superpower. But then it's also hard to give them something because like sometimes people might go, I didn't like that. Or,
Yeah,
like
of
that hits
course.
too close to home. You're like, You have to find a balance. Like
Mhm.
part of the reason I haven't done any more multiverse lore stuff for the current arc, other than me being busy, is I'm having trouble thinking of how I fit in other people's abilities. Or like
Yeah.
what to do. Because like I thought I'm gonna be like I normally get like a small burst of inspiration. Like I thought of the pun philosopher's scone and then I wrote Zane's. I love that pun. That might be my magnum opus pun so far.
Philosopher's Stone.
But it's very hard to think about it because like, and it's also like just super strength that's bland and boring. But there are some people that I think that would just be what they want.
Yeah.
You know, Jackson, I think. One idea I have for you is the power of being the luckiest person on the planet.
That's something you definitely need.
That'd be nice. That's a Danganronpa character.
I think that's a good power that fits for you.
I I like it. That's also a Wheel of Time character.
For context to our viewers, Jackson has the worst luck ever.
It's not the worst, but
It has.
It's pretty
It's
bad.
not the worst, but its lows are very low.
Look,
The
aside
amount
from
of ones you've
D&D,
rolled, how long did it take you to like get the Rod of Discord?
that's what I was trying to say.
oh my god,
Oh,
I forgot.
I
Yeah.
beat you to it.
Yeah, the fucking 4,000, 10K Chaos Elementals, was it?
I think I don't know. It took like 6 hours of consecutive grinding. I had I think
Exactly.
40 banners at least.
Yeah. So that's like 800.
It was way too many. Oh my
Mhm.
god. No, you're right. Oh my!
You kinda need
Yesterday,
it.
What about yesterday?
I was rolling so badly. I rolled 7 nat ones.
Yeah, see, it sucks when he's in our party, but like when he's our DM, it's based because he rolls so badly.
I was just getting it out of my system for today.
Jackson,
Trust
we
me.
might eviscerate you.
Liam, there are a lot of people the only way I can miss is a nat one. No, I've done rolls you can't eviscerate me.
Jackson,
No, but the problem is those
I've
are test rolls. They're not.
like you were saying, I've been given a great spiff of inspiration, and similarly to Liam's, but more like the opposite. I think you should have the power to give other people
my
bad
luck.
luck.
Oh, that's also really funny. That's like a sleeper power. I like that. That's not a superpower, but that's like I feel like fucking with you today power.
Yeah, exactly.
That's that I pulled that on my whoever's session we're going up against.
You go up against just pull up the Zane's next session and be like God King, more like natural one King.
Yeah.
Now for Jacob. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I guess I have too much mystique when it comes to potentiality.
I don't think you've mystique.
Oh, I'm just bland.
You're just.
Damn.
It
That's
doesn't
not
mean
what I said
bland.
either. It's like what Jackson said. People too much nuance to just be summarized with one thing.
Yeah.
Though I guess this isn't summarizing, but like it's kind of on the same level. uh Jacob, what's your favorite color?
Green.
Green. Green?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Jacob, I would just I'd let you be a rubber man.
Okay.
I think you would enjoy that.
You're probably right. This is like Plastic Man in DC
Oh yeah.
is so unbelievably stupid and broken.
Oh,
Yeah, Plastic Man should like watch One Piece to see how strong he can actually be.
No, he knows how strong he can be.
Is he actually like busted in the
Yeah,
DC
you know he's
too?
fucking broken,
He's fucking busted as hell.
Well, good.
and he doesn't have that water weakness.
Oh, so he's even stronger than Luffy.
He is, yes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot
Wait,
of
actually?
superheroes are, yes. Luffy's not that strong.
Yes. I mean, it depends on what he's being compared to.
Like, and compared to most things, he's not
He
that
would
strong.
be he would be one of the strongest things on like Earth.
Well, yeah, but that's because he's like in fiction. He is not that strong. Like Goku easily destroys One Piece. Most superheroes destroy One Piece.
Well, Goku destroys everything.
Exactly.
Unless their power is they control all of reality or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like Luffy's pretty tame, which is good because his show has not finished.
Jacob.
Yeah.
Hmm. Um. I don't. This is hard. Maybe I'd give you the trimmer fruit. Just to see what happens. You'd probably use it for good or something.
Do
That's
not
that's
give a geologist that fruit.
that's really funny because like I like when I was younger I caused like a lot of things to break on accident.
I thought you were about to say I caused a lot of earthquakes. When I was younger, bro, I loved playing with tectonic plates. Fuck.
Man, I was just given 2 devil fruits.
Yeah,
All right.
Liam.
All right, Liam.
I'm
All right. You psychoanalyzed me, so I'm going to psychoanalyze you.
My
What's your
go-to-
favorite
It's
color?
psychoanalyzed.
My go-to was gonna be like making everything you say believable.
Oh, that's so
No,
true.
That's
I'm
boring.
I'm trying to step away from gaslighting though.
Well, not gaslighting. Like when you just say something like goofy.
Yeah.
Like earlier, you said something that was like just I don't remember what it was, but it's just like an offhand Liam goofy comment, and I'm like, that's not true.
Right.
But I'm
Mhm.
like, I think it'd be just funny to go, that's right, and have whoever like that was vehemently believe it.
I see.
The gaslighting fruit.
That kind of sounds like gaslighting though.
That's called lying.
Hmm.
The lying fruit.
Gaslighting
see.
is not just lying; it is actively making people doubt their experiences and memory. Gaslighting would be if they found out that they were lied to, and you're like, no, that wasn't me.
Oh,
You
okay.
came out, you did that all yourself. Yeah, but I'm like, one, that's boring, and two, that doesn't fit you that much.
Liam, what's your
Okay.
favorite color?
I don't know. I I've gotten so far into like color theory and I've seen so many different types of art, I realized that, I just never I guess
You hate all
I
colors
like
equally.
yeah, exactly. I like blue,
Blue
red, and green
and red and green.
in
Okay.
different circumstances.
All right. Now that I've psychoanalyzed your favorite colors,
Yeah.
I've
But I didn't actually ask your favorite color to for this. I'm just
I
writing
know.
down everyone's favorite color in their Discord profiles, along with their middle name.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Okay. I lost my train of thought because of that.
sorry.
He said blue and red in different
yeah.
circumstances.
Mostly, I don't know actually. I like red and blue the most, I think, right now.
I think gold and silver were better, but that's my opinion. It's a Pokemon
Okay.
reference.
I think
I like
I'm
those too.
you know, I feel like I'm being
It's
very
Pokemon.
unimaginative here, but like I'm falling back on like what other people are saying to make something new out of it, you know?
Ooh.
So like
Oh.
along the lines of like Jackson's saying, you just say something, you make other people believe it's real, just like probably the ability to make whatever you say just become reality.
Okay, so Jacob would trust you with reality manipulation.
Oh
Liam.
fuck, shit!
I do good. If I had that power, I feel like I'd like, I'd probably like
It would
tell
be
you guys
like-
about it just to make sure, because like I know I've made stupid decisions in the past, so just to make sure I'm not doing something stupid, I'd like.
Fuck, I completely forgot that was
Yeah, I'm
reality.
gonna rip out.
Sorry, let me edit it.
Yeah,
though.
I'd ask you guys.
When Liam says like something happened, the memory just appears in people's heads, but it never
That's
actually
gaslighting.
happened.
That's
That's
gaslighting.
gaslighting.
That's
That's
gaslighting.
even more.
Sorry, it just sounds like fitting.
I would let Liam gaslight.
Gaslight the world.
Spider-Man now gaslight the world.
I will show you the world. What would I do if I had reality bending powers? I'd try to make the world a better place. Maybe I just like, What if?
I would just like not make the polar ice caps now.
Re-release Skyrim for Game Boy.
I don't know.
So true.
Is a change worth it if it like fixes basically all of
Remember we had this discussion
all
last
of
time?
a person's or like all of the world's problems, but in order to do so, it kind of like messes with people's minds a bit.
Definition of a bit.
Like if I
So like
I'd have to think about it, like if I just got rid of like selfishness inside of people's minds, like just got rid of it.
Well, that would be bad because then you lose self-preservation and caring for yourself.
Like, all right, if it's like a meter, like turn it down a
do you
bit,
remember-
or
do
like
you
set a
remember- do you-
maximum. Like a
do you-
person can only be so selfish.
Liam, do you remember the last bit of Persona 5 Royale?
Yeah, I'll be
That's-
honest. It's a bit different, but like I was never fully convinced what he was doing was wrong. I mean, like I get it, like messing with people's free will, but that's more like completely gaslighting people. This is more just like,
Oh my god, he was just a gaslighting.
This is
See,
why- this is
Jacob.
why-
See, Jacob. This is.
No, this is
I
why
said no
talk
one.
about it. This is why I talk about it first, though. I wouldn't just do it.
Well, you're gonna get some varied answers.
You're gonna get varied answers, but then someone's gonna push you, and then you're gonna finally do it, and you're gonna be like, "Yeah."
I feel like
make
still,
the
if you
right
have the
decisions.
power to do that,
I believe you
you
shouldn't
kinda
because
gotta-
you don't have the right. I don't think you should
gotta
have the
do
right
something
to do
with it to make the world better.
it. And you could do it in small ways that don't.
Yeah,
Smaller ways, like ending world hunger.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if whenever someone was hungry, just food just appeared in front of them?
Everyone has.
Because
buttons.
world hunger is kind of a complicated problem because
Mhm.
it's not necessarily that there's not enough food in the world for people. Like a
Lack of
study
access.
estimated that there's like enough food for like 12 billion people at any given moment. It's that people don't have access to it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like it's not that there isn't any food for a poor person. It's they won't get any food because they don't
can't
have
buy.
money.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's like slowly making. Like you could honestly probably just destroy commerce, like the need for capitalism.
Mhm.
Based.
That's what I'm saying. Hobie
do
agrees
that.
probably. But
Love Hobie.
then you'd have to fix like all the problems that come with that.
Yeah.
And then the problems that come with that.
And remember, you're not omniscient, so you don't know
Yeah.
everything. That is why, Liam, I would let you summon a magical sword that lets you control any element and fly. It's like Mjolnir, but cooler.
Any element and fly?
Yeah, it's like, no, you don't fly. The sword's magical, so it flies, and you let it take you where you want to
Oh,
go.
got it. That's cool.
It also talks and wants to destroy evil.
Oh. I could ask it philosophical questions and see
All
what it
right,
has to
one
say.
more thing.
True.
I'd make your superpower would be becoming a skeleton.
I don't know if I'd like that. I mean that's like if I became a skeleton,
This is
a
a
lot
hate
of stuff in
message
my
to you.
life would change, probably for the worse. I mean, would I be immortal?
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be kind of cool, but like, I'd have a bit harder time getting like a job.
Bit. I'm sticking with the last one.
Okay, the ability to edit all of
Gaslight.
reality.
No, gaslight the world.
I like the edit reality better, but like that one's also pretty good. Although I
Gaslight
probably
the
wouldn't do
world.
it because gaslighting and stuff.
Meeple Maniac, what would you give us for powers?
Ooh, that was a good Meeple Maniac tie-in. Sorry, I was thinking if there was anything else I would give him. I mean, maybe the power to be utterly persuasive.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Or allow people to see your viewpoint. So, like, even if their world experience made it, like, inconceivable, you allowed them to
I
conceive.
think that's
I've got it.
I don't think I'd want that actually.
In my shoes.
Because
the ability
because
in my shoes. You can put
perspective
people
might
in
not
your
always
shoes.
be like.
Well, just understand your
I-
perspective.
If they understand my perspective, they'd probably agree with mine, but that's not
No,
necessarily.
that doesn't change theirs. It's you fully grasp what it's like, what you are saying.
You get like the
And
full you get the full like context of both sides of the argument, so you can make your argument the best way possible.
It gives them the context.
Yeah. It would be like providing the way for actual civil discussion.
Yeah, this is not the persuasion. This is just the ability to let people understand. Because even if somebody understands you, that does not mean that they would agree with you.
Suppose.
I think that's a decent spot to end it. Do you two have any ending comments?
Your
I don't
oven's
think
running.
I do.
What, Jacob?
Your oven's running.
Oh, fuck.
It's running.
Go ahead,
Keep
Liam.
an open mind and stuff.
And don't forget to preheat the oven.